Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to Leo season. We have made it. We made it through Cancer season, and here we are in the thick of eclipse season. So speaking of that, I did eclipse oracle readings for all signs. The link for your sign watching here is below. Also, everything I'm about to talk about is in the description box below. Of course, if you want a private reading with me, you can access that below to my booking system. Prices are going to be going up for my birthday in Virgo season, so take advantage of those prices now. If you want access to the mid-month readings, you have two options for that. I now offer the ability to buy them by sign individually, or of course, you can join Siren Gang where you pay monthly and you get access to all 12 of the readings, plus a weekly energetic blog, plus $3 off my services. But when my prices go up, that discount will go from $3 off to $5 off. And I also listed some crystal sets for sale on my website as well, along with, of course, my ritual kit. So the description of that is below, and I've already sold about half of them. And if you guys really like them, I will start stocking them more often. I was just trying to gauge where everything was at. All the crystal sets that we have on the site now are going to be charged under the eclipses, so you have the opportunity to add any additional intentions you have and things like that and get them charged up. Of course, as always, if you have any questions for me or not sure which reading to get or whatever, of course, email me. The description is below. And if you want access to me on a more regular basis, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @_spiritual_siren. Mwah. All right, Leo. So, there comes a time now, granted, you guys always do what's best for you. Not necessarily the detriment of other people, but, it's just kind of how you're wired. And that's always admirable. So I do feel that some of you are either contemplating moving towards or away from your nuclear family in order to pursue a type of happiness that is going to fulfill you before it fulfills other people. Okay? And again, some of you, this may take you away from the people that you consider family now in order for you to pursue your own type of family, find your soul tribe, whatever. Okay? Because with the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Wands here, there's this fixation on personal rejuvenation and satisfaction and getting back in touch with your own inner truth, your own flow. Okay? Because I think there has been some stagnation overall in how you're emoting and how you're allowing things to flow into your life, right? Because the aces are always an opportunity. What is an opportunity for? An opportunity to rejuvenate your spirit, an opportunity to get back in touch with your innate truth and your innate power, right? Because the Queen of Wands has so much to share, and she really isn't concerned with whether or not there's an audience to receive her, because she knows that anywhere she goes, she commands presence. And so she's not like, oh, where is my audience? Or will I find my audience? Or will I find the people that are going to be open to receiving me? No, she just knows it's a given. Okay, so to an extent, I feel you're moving away from your normal crowd, the people that are usually filling up the seats, and filling up your life. You're moving away from them, the more broad picture of it, and going kind of with your true few, if you will, into a new future, okay? All right, my Leos. First of all, happy birthday, happy solar return. This is my very Venus and Leo kimono. I love it so much. Kimonos are life. With the eclipses running through your season, I feel like your typical Leo shine feels like it's getting dulled, but we all have to go through a buffing or a waxing in order to shine at our highest potential. So you may be feeling like you're going through a period right now where some things are graining on you and things are rubbing on you, and that's taking away your light, right? Because the light can't get at you when this cloth is over you, when this, this machine is over you. But you're going to come out shinier than ever, and I really don't think you're going to be back to feeling your best shine until we move into September. We move more into Virgo season. And I do feel like life is a little bit of a headache for you right now. It just seems like there's a lot of headaches in life. And your overall energy is the Knight of Pentacles. So there is this need to slow down. To be honest, I don't think Spirit is letting you do the most right now. And I think that's kind of irritating to you. However, you know, you still have all that room for that true Leo enjoyment. Enjoy your birthday and have your fun in the sun and have your shine and do your thing. But being that it's an eclipse season, and I feel this is a lot more potent than last year's, honestly, even though last year's came over the U.S., so that was big for all of us that live here, and we got to see it and like yada yada. I feel like that was just the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like we're in the eye of the storm right now, and Spirit is really asking you to shed every former aspect of yourself. And it's funny that it's opening a door for you that is Aquarian. Literally, it's asking you to open up to Aquarian energy. So I feel like what Leo is really getting pushed to understand now and integrate is your polarity, right? Which is perfect because on Thursday, the 27th, we're having that full moon opposition eclipse, and it'll wrap up, what is it, the 12th, the 13th? Now, I felt called a lesson card for you as well, and here we have Death. I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. And there is a huge beckoning of release here, okay? With these cards literally in the release section. And it's important to remember that Knight of Pentacles takes their time. They understand that what they're working towards is going to unfold far out into the future. And Aquarius rules the future, okay? Aquarius rules humanity and the projection of where we're headed as a collective whole. So you know how to shine for yourself. You know how to do your own thing, right? And that doesn't make you selfish. That just makes you self-aware and self-centered in a really positive way, right? Because, you know, it's the idea that, like, a solar-centric universe, right? The sun is what allows all the other planets to shine, right? We have that in the middle and everything orbits around it. But if we don't have awareness of how the sun affects its environment or what, you know what I mean? Everything has a cause and effect. So I feel like everything is getting pulled for you to understand right now from the opposite perspective. Like, okay, this is your plan, this is your goal, this is your desire, and those are beautiful things, but what are you going to do with those gifts in society? What are you going to do with those plans? How would that move? How would that new job? How would that more money, that raise, whatever, how would it allow you to impact the collective whole differently, right? How would it allow you to be more of service? What would it allow you to do far into the future? Or what could you do now that will set you up for a different type of future? These are the kind of questions that you're getting asked right now. And now's not the time to answer them. They're just questions to sit and ruminate on. Because the more you try to have a finite answer, have a definitive answer, I feel that you will struggle. And that's not to say because you don't have the answer. It's just the answer I don't feel is in words. Right now, I feel like the answer is in resonance. Okay? And that's why Spirit with the Page of Pentacles is just, or excuse me, the Knight of Pentacles is just saying, take what you've harvested. Take what you've toiled away for. And just start taking steps, baby steps, forward. Just as long as it's forward, never backwards. Because what we're being asked to release this month is the Judgment with the rune Female and the Ace of Cups with the rune Disruption. So, you know, for some of you men watching this, you might realize that there have been a lot of women in the past that you've allowed to disrupt your life. Or you have a feminine wound, right, which can easily be from your mother, okay, or it can be from an ex or whatever, or, you know, whoever raised you, whatever you understood as a female or a woman's place, right, or energy in your life growing up. And it has disrupted your ability to receive in some capacity. Now, Leo energy is innately masculine, right? So with Female and Judgment, and this goes for any person in general, there's really a time to assess your relationship with feminine energy. You can either do this, again, through relationships you've had with women or your mother or whatever, Or it can just be in general, especially if you are a woman and you identify yourself as feminine. There's this idea of, how have I judged my own desire to receive? Why do I always feel like I need to go out and get it all myself? Where does that meet, right? Where does that converge? Now, with the Ace of Cups being disrupted, I feel there is some type of, for lack of a better term, we'll use toxicity, right? Because toxicity is really anything that is damaging to us in any capacity, right? Because we can ingest something toxic like alcohol and not actually see the damage now, right? It might damage us far down the road. Shout out to all my sober friends, by the way. I'm about to hit 1 year. Ooh, plug for myself. Anyways. So, there's this idea that you're really at a crossroads where any baggage you have around not being able to receive, or you feel that people have held back from you, and blocked you from receiving, or you just have this view of hyper femininity, or again, very creative endeavors, very things that seem impractical, right? Because feminine energy is not verbal, right? It's a resonance. So this can be any type of judgment you have towards kind of just being. I feel like this is, again, with the death energy here, and it's red for root chakra. I feel there's a lot around reinventing your idea of safety as well, right? Because if we don't trust that we're going to receive without us doing, that is a wound around receiving, love energy. Because the Ace of Cups in general, yes, rules love, and we're talking about love in the broadest perspective. And then the disruption here, so there's this, I feel this is a direct block in being able to receive non-physical energy and receive loving energy and just receiving also your own gifts. I feel this may be a block to you receiving your own gifts or seeking praise for those gifts. Like, you may not share your creativity, or you might feel that your creativity is not worth sharing unless there's a crowd, right? We talked about that in the beginning, unless there's a guarantee that people are going to come out and view it. But I feel that that block needs to get cleared now, because there's going to be something with your gifts that you're going to have to be able to figure out how they serve the whole, and understand that they may not serve the whole. Like, even if you are serving the whole, you may not receive this, like, overt amount of recognition or this overt amount of praise for what you're doing, but that doesn't negate the amount of impact they're having, right? It's the whole idea of, like, we can be huge inspirations for people, but we don't actually know we're inspiring them, or we don't collect a check from that. Like, they're not flooding our inbox or, our social media saying, like, you inspired me, you inspire me, you inspire me. You may not find out, we don't necessarily know how many people we inspire or we make, make changes in their life. So I feel like this is understanding your power, whether or not it's being outwardly recognized. The door that's now open for you that was once closed, we have the King of Swords with the rune Victory, and we have the Star. And I feel there needs to be a clearing, right, of past judgments to our own ability to receive, primarily because you're getting the opportunity, again, at this eclipse, through your opposition of Aquarius, to actualize some of your biggest dreams, okay? The King of Swords here, with the rune Victory, could easily be a job opportunity, a dream job, right? The King of Swords is someone that's very intellectual and someone that has some type of legal standing or like some type of authority. He's like a, this could be a boss, or this can be someone that is just like more well-known on a subject than you, right? But with the Star here, I do feel there's a little bit of a fame aspect. I feel like you're going to be successfully recognized for your talent and for your, more than talent though, in a physical showman way, more than intellectual talent. Like, you are going to be seen for your valuable knowledge. I don't think that's something that you're necessarily used to, right? You're used to getting recognized for your more physical actions and your more, the show you put on, if you will, things that people can see physically. So this idea of you getting recognized and applauded for your mental capacity and your ability to be a storehouse of knowledge is something I think that is a little bit foreign to you. But don't shy away from it, okay? Don't shy away from it because there is a lot to be said for that. Now, the star does require vulnerability, though, right? We have to, again, be able to receive in a way that we never have before in order to be victorious. And I also feel it's important to speak very, very clearly on what you desire and to not be wishy-washy, and also to speak on best case scenarios, not worst case scenarios. Like, don't speak in probability. Speak on your highest, most, it may seem obscene outcome. Like, I want, $10,000, I'm going to have $10,000 that is going to allow me to do X, Y, and Z. It may seem so totally erratic, but I think it's important to talk about the most obscure, like, best case scenario. That's the only way I know how to describe it. Because you never know what dreams could be getting, come true. This is like a dream granting time. Again, I am learning that endings are merely beginnings. There's a lot to let go of, and there's a lot to initiate yourself into. And a lot of times we don't speak on our best case scenario. We speak on our worst case scenario because it seems more likely. But we'll never know if the other one is more likely if we never actually give it that vibrational oomph behind it and speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Your current energy as it relates to all of this, in your head, we have the Seven of Pentacles. In your heart, we have the Six of Cups. On the Six of Cups, we have the Rune Future. And in your foundation, we have the Magician. Now, some of you may be thinking about what it would be like to have children, or if that's part of your future or whatever. However, I feel a lot of you are nostalgic this month with future and the Six of Cups in your heart. I feel like, any true crossroads makes us reflect on how far we've come, right? And what that means for us. So this can be a reflection on, like, your upbringing, right? And you're like, I can't believe that I made it here. I can't believe that, I came from this and now I'm here. There also needs to be a reconciliation between you and your inner child going forward into the future. Because, again, in order to truly receive and allow your strengths to shine in a way that you have not previously allowed them to, you need to mend the bridge of trust between you and your inner child. Because something happened growing up where you were told that, your gifts or your talents would only be worth so much. I feel particularly like, okay, they're fun, like song and dance. Hey, look at me. Okay, you're talented, but they're going to expire. I feel like you were told your gifts are going to expire and they're not going to be worth it all the time. So then you just do things that give you attention, but not necessarily notoriety that you can do something with, right? Because different types of attention yield different types of currency, especially in this time and space that we're in with the internet, right? So there needs to be a mending of fences, if you will, between you and your inner child so that your inner child is not acting out and wanting attention just for the sake of it, but that you give it the attention it needs, and then together the two of you cultivate, right, a heart-centered connection to your true gifts to perpetuate you into the future that allows you to also potentially help children. Okay, there is that little bit of that vibe here too. With the Seven of Pentacles in your head, there is this daunting feeling of waiting for things to manifest. Okay, and it's interesting too because we have 7, 7, 7, and then these two together add to 7. So this is a karmic time of doing what's necessary, not necessarily what's fun. And that can be a real Debbie Downer for Leo especially. But it's important to hold the faith. Again, with the star here, hold the faith. Hold the faith that you have the vision, that you have the knowledge. Okay, what you can see and what you can bring up to earth has nothing to do with what is possible, okay? Because we're not quite, like I said, we're not quite in harvest season. Harvest season is more so Virgo, Libra, okay? But we're close, okay? We're really close. The Seven of Pentacles in your head is saying, don't focus on what is, focus on what can be, Okay, focus on highest potentials. I feel that's extremely important this month to focus on highest potentials. This is all about taking your power back. This is all about getting back in touch with your most empowering center. And you may be saying, well, I always felt like I was in power. Well, I always felt like I, knew what I was doing. But no, something has been going on recently where you've been second guessing whether or not this was all really worth it. I feel there's been a creative block, again, with feminine energy. Because feminine energy is also rules, creativity, muse type energy, I feel. In particular, you may not have been feeling inspired very much. The Magician here is saying that underneath the surface of it all, right? That energy that sometimes you try to ignore, or you glaze over it and go put your energy into something more physical, that's asking for your attention. Because I feel, again, that as you root yourself in the fact that no matter what changes, you hold the key. No matter what changes, you have all the tools. And you will never be outworked. You will never be outshined. You know all that. But sometimes when we work and work and work and work, we forget that there has to be a time for reception. There has to be a time for rest, right? Because that is the fuel. So you hold all the keys to the castle. You hold all the keys to the kingdom. And the main key that needs to be focused on right now, again, is nurturing a relationship with your inner power, in your inner child. Because I feel like your inner child, when it throws a tantrum, makes it really, really hard for you to function in a way that can yield success down the road. All right? Spirit's advice for you is the Moon, the Knight of Cups, and the High Priestess. On the Moon, we have Self. So I feel, again, you're digging up a faction of yourself, a fraction of yourself, that has never really seen the light of day. Okay? I feel that you're going through your own evolution that seems to be eluding you. I don't think that you really know where you're headed, and I think that kind of makes you unsure, right? Both of these cards rule the unseen. Both of these cards rule secrets. Okay, but we're talking about your own secrets. So this can be parts of yourself that you have not even realized were there for a long time, again, since maybe you were a child. And again, there's this strong feminine energy that's wanting to come through. Regardless of your gender, regardless of how you identify, there is a need to really pay attention to the way your intuition functions. Okay, because everyone has intuition and just functions in a different capacity. But there's knowledge that, again, I feel is being served to you in a language that is non-physical, okay? So we're not just talking about number synchronicities. We're not even talking about things manifesting. They're claircognizance, they're thoughts placed in your mind, they're sensations that you feel, they're inclinations that you receive, and they're not at all validated by the external world. They're really just like you having to figure out if it means anything to you, right? So as those signs come through and start to use you as a channel, I feel like a lot of you are starting to get used as a channel. It's all because Spirit wants you to be able to move forward in a more heart-centered manner, in a more creative manner. You need more love in your life. You need more inspiration in your life. I feel like there's been some kind of monotony that you have subjected yourself to, or life has kind of brought upon you, okay? Again, with Self here, don't be so attached to your identity. I know that Leo energy in general has a lot of pride and, doesn't want to be seen as someone who's faltering. But vulnerability is the true strength, right? Learning from your Aquarian brethren. Okay, vulnerability is the true strength. And to be able to proudly say, I'm not sure who I am, or I don't know who I am, but I know that I'm me. Like, I don't know what to call myself. Like, that is a very strong position to be in. So I feel like the more you're willing to, quote, lose yourself, the more that you will find yourself. And you'll start moving forward in life in a lot more of a fluid manner and have a lot more trust. Okay, because I feel like this is overall pushing you to trust in Goddess, pushing you to trust in feminine energy, right? Pushing you to trust in your inner muse, not needing to necessarily seek outside sources for those things, and allowing, those dead parts of yourself to fade away and wither away, and you can pluck them from the root, okay? And the most likely outcome moving into September, we have the Chariot. And we have the Seven of Swords. And on the Seven of Swords, we have constraint. This is an interesting combination. The Seven of Swords obviously talks about primarily energetic leaks, or the ways that we allow things to distract us or take our attention. You know, because no one can really steal from us what we aren't already, you know, putting up for grabs. I feel that if you decide to move physically, right, move out of your current house, move away from friends, move away from a different job, like moving on, right? If you choose to move on, you're going to realize what ways certain situations have been constraining you or restraining you energetically, or how your thought process is being restrained. I feel like this is going to manifest a couple different ways for different people, okay? Because in some regard, having constraint on a card like the Seven of Swords is positive. Like we're minimizing leaks. We're minimizing distractions, right? However, it's important to remember that regardless of surroundings, regardless of how many changes we make to our external world, if we have a tendency to seek outside of ourselves for fulfillment, for distraction, for whatever, that will eventually resurface again. Okay? So if you think moving is going to make you feel more, you know, focused or give you a better life or whatever, that's not to say that in some people's cases it won't. You know what I mean? And this comes from someone that has moved a lot. Okay? I've personally moved a lot. At the end of the day, your energy follows you. To an extent, yes, different locations vibrationally share a different tendency or whatever, but just know that you can't escape yourself through a move physically, okay? So you may eliminate some distractions or some energy leaks, but not all of them. So know that discipline will still have to take its place, and that you will still be on a steady course. Like, things aren't just going to rapidly shift overnight just because you moved homes, okay? The Chariot, moving on in another regard, right, is ultimately saying you will be successful. But again, we have to create our own self-restraint. This may be also that you may want to put off on moving, because again, it might cause more restraint in your life and cause you more stress than it's really worth right now, okay? I feel that you're stepping into a more of a go with the flow type of life, and that may be making you a little bit uncomfortable, but it is necessary, okay? Yes, the Knight of Pentacles is saying plan and have your ducks in a row and make sure your money is right and whatever, but at the end of the day, you know, there is no fire here. That you're stepping into territory that is not, you know, that you don't have mastered, and that's not a bad thing. You know, you're stepping more into territory that is requiring you to live from the heart just as much as the head. And not in a passion, let me throw all caution to the wind type of way. In like a, wow, like I need to live from my heart. I need to do things that fulfill me and pour back out into the world type of way. Okay? Spirit, what affirmations you have for Leo? We're going to go with the first one that popped out. We cannot do the most all the time. I love myself exactly as I am. I no longer wait to be perfect in order to love myself. The greatest gift I can give myself is unconditional love. And that's really what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about the relationship with you and the inner you, you and the higher you, right? Because any block to love, right? Or any block to receiving, any block to feminine energy trying to flow through you and give you the right to love, whatever. If you think you need to work harder, if you think that you need to push more and earn more, that's not the answer, baby. The answer is love who you are right now. Love who you are right here in this moment, because that's the only way things are going to feel easier. And that's what's going to allow people to love you, okay? In a way that is not in a fan way, not in an adoration way, in a real, tangible, grounded way, okay? Love y'all. Peace.